Hello and welcome to Deakin's Virtual Open Day. My name is Michael, lecturer in the School of Architecture and Built Environment and course coordinator of the Bachelor of Design Architecture and Bachelor of Construction Management combined degree here at Deakin. I'm thrilled to have you with us here today as we explore this unique course offering of a combined degree between architecture and construction management. I will also be hosting a live Q&A session straight after this presentation to answer any questions you may have. To introduce myself more formally, I've been a lecturer at the school for the past 9 years, following a variety of tutoring and research activities 5 years prior. I'm a graduate of this school some years ago now, and have developed my teaching and research interests in digital design, architectural communication, architectural technology, and design. I currently am the course coordinator of this combined degree between Bachelor of Design Architecture and Bachelor of Construction Management Honours, and I do look forward to welcoming you to this community we have at the School of Architecture and Built Environment. The combined degree between Architecture and Construction Management is a unique course offering at Deakin, and it's the only one of its kind in Australia. It brings together both the creative and practical aspects of the built environment that develops our students into well-rounded and highly sought-after graduates within the industry. In general, across our School of Architecture and Built Environment, we have a sense of community that has developed amongst our students and academics due to the proximity and integration of some of our core learning between both disciplines, with our combined degree students at the centre of that between architecture and construction management. What does studying a combined degree offer? One of the key aspects, as I mentioned, is the ability to develop an understanding between two disciplines within the same industry of design and construction. This enables the students to develop skills between the two through working side by side with each other and in a manner that integrates the knowledge and practice. We have found graduates of this combined degree to be highly employable within the industry. And if you were to pursue the architectural profession, you have a pathway into our Master of Architecture postgraduate study that can mean you can complete your entire studies with 3 degrees in about 6 to 6.5 year period, but I will talk more about this later. Why Deakin? At large, we have been ranking well in the QS World Rankings for top 50, under 50, and I think we even jumped a few spots recently. We have the #1 student satisfaction within Victoria, and the school itself is #1 ranked by good universities, again, based on building on student satisfaction and graduate outcomes. That has impact within the industry, and I can personally speak of employers holding our graduates of this combined degree with high reputation. This is the entry requirements for school leavers into the range of our undergraduate courses. So you can see what it might take to be entered into one of these courses, with the single degrees of architecture at about 70, into the single degree into construction management at 60, based on last year's scores, and what it takes to get into the combined degree at about 79. You'll also notice that we have a combined degree with our business and law faculty between Bachelor of Construction Management Honours and Bachelor of Property and Real Estate. If you are coming from TAFE or the vocational pathway, then we have many agreements with different providers that could mean an accelerated entry. We cannot list these as there are quite a few of them, but I welcome you to contact the school to discuss a particular situation if that is of interest to you. We do offer course transfer if you're already within Deakin. This might not seem so interesting to some listening today who are looking at their different university and study options for next year. However, it is an important point to discuss for those that are aiming for our combined degree, as we do find some students enter either into one of the single degrees and then upgrade into the combined degree. If you feel daunted by the ATAR scores earlier or are not sure, you can course transfer once you arrive at Deakin. The transfer is seamless. All you need to do is meet the requirements, which is a WAM or weighted average mark of 65 after your first trimester with us. If you were to come from the single Bachelor of Design Architecture degree, then your course map in first year is identical to the combined degree, so there is no credit loss. If you were to do this via the Bachelor of Construction Management Honours, then there may be some credit loss or adjustments to your course map, however, it is only minor. Lastly, the combined degree can be accelerated from a 5-year to a 4-year if you take selected units during the trimester 3 period. To explain, if you weren't aware, Deakin operates on 3 trimesters per year, so 3 teaching periods each year of about 11 weeks formally each, not including orientation, break, study and exam weeks. So to see that mapped out, there are 5 years of full-time study, or 4 if accelerated, after which students can choose to enter the industry as a construction manager graduate, which if you were aiming for a larger construction management firm or construction firm, you might enter straight into one of their graduate or cadet programs. Some students find work in architectural practices as student graduates. However, in order to pursue becoming a registered architect, then you will need to complete accredited postgraduate studies such as the Master of Architecture, and we'll have other registration requirements to complete. Again, I will talk more about this in a little while. This combined degree course itself is 40 credit points, with some of the units valued at 2 credit points. This map shows the discipline and shared breakup between architecture and construction management units that you will undertake. The mix varies across years, but the first year units are identical to the Bachelor of Design Architecture single degree course, as I mentioned earlier. There is one elective that was recently introduced to enable our combined degree students to undertake work integrated learning or short-term study tour opportunities. This elective actually is often taken in trimester 3, which leads me to say that many of our students customize their course mapping, spreading some units out to the trimester 3 period where possible, and adjusting if they have work or family commitments outside of university. So whilst this might seem intense, students do find the balance that works for them. If you are coming from a TAFE pathway, then you'll find that some of these units are also precluded and that you are given credit for, which further personalizes the map for yourself. A typical week that a student might encounter. This gives an outlook of a year 1, trimester 1 schedule of contact hours. We aim to arrange a unit per day where possible. To explain, a class is something that you might associate to a lecture, so with everyone together at one time. We do record our lectures as a backup, but appreciate when students attend and become engaged and interactive within the sessions. Seminar and practicals are smaller tutor-led sessions of about 20 to 25 students. Seminars involve a classroom setting, usually discussion or activity-based, and practicals are often in our computer or CAD labs, engaging discipline-based software like AutoCAD or Adobe. Studio is a core activity to architecture, which usually operates in our large A+B studio space. Here you engage with your studio leaders on design projects, engaging in discussions, activities, and pin-up of your work. Lastly, our scheduled hours are only part of the engagement. In between, there is a fair bit of self-study time, engaging readings, developing projects, and extending the learning. We typically set a unit at about 10 hours per week. So if you have 16 hours scheduled, then 24 hours would be spent outside of the classroom, working at your own pace. Design studio in particular can be quite intense, working on the design projects. So this is not a perfect number, and you'll find some units might be a little bit easier and some units might be a little bit more involved at times. Now, whilst we are sitting in the online space for this year, we do have fantastic facilities at the Waterfront campus. The school has the A+B studio that you can see in the top there. This is a special space for our students. It's a large space for about 300 plus people. Often one side of the studio is busy with scheduled studio sessions across undergraduate and postgraduate units, and the other side is more flexible with students using the space in between their study times. We have an A+B workshop, which is actually outside the building and down the street a little bit under the residence building nearby. That space is accessible to students after they complete a quick safety induction. It is kitted out with many hand and power tools that is used under the supervision of our workshop technicians. On top of that, the workshop features our laser cutters and various 3D printers that students can utilize as part of their study, though the technicians actually operate these directly. Other features include our A+B gallery space that is used for pin-ups, reviews, and presentations. And often you'll see some work on exhibition from recent design studios in this space. The campus is full of other informal study spaces along the halls, between classrooms, and within the library. The campus is generally open 24/7 under normal times, and students use this campus quite a bit, which creates a kind of lively and dynamic environment at all hours. Giving students access to a number of our facilities, including the library, CAD lab, and studio. What I can't show you, unfortunately, is the wider place that the campus is located at, which is the waterfront campus. And if you're not aware, it's right on Corio Bay at the base of the Geelong Central Business District. There is plenty of amenity and fanfare at times with cafes, parks, and the water's edge to engage with. The campus is also only 5 minutes from the Geelong train station, so accessibility to the V line is fairly suited. A number of our students commute, and so that time is often used to catch up, engage with each other, watch a movie here or there, or get ahead on their study. So a 50-minute trip down and trip back is not a lost time, particularly with the traffic coming out of Melbourne at the moment. We also have the residence building nearby, but I'm sure you'll find out about that from other presentations in this virtual open day. I would invite you, if you have the time and are able to take a quick drive down to Geelong and see the campus and surrounds along the Geelong waterfront. Within our school and our programs, we have a strong number of industry links. To highlight some of these, our real lectures are great presentations that students organise with local and trending architects to come and speak about their work on a Tuesday evening. Work integrated learning is a rising trend within Deakin, and we are encouraging of our students to take these opportunities during their study. There are some established programs for students in A+B, but often students do bring their own opportunities they find and turn that into part of their study to gain credit towards their degree as a result. Our courses, especially as combined degree, is highly accredited within Australia and abroad. Of particular note, we have the architectural accreditation through the Architects Accreditation Council of Australia. And then on top of that, we have accreditation with the Australian Institute of Building for construction management. These accreditation processes are important, as that's what defines the job that you might gravitate towards. The combined degree basically opens this wide up within the built environment, and we have a number of graduates in a variety of opportunities such as these on the list. This means that you don't just become an architect or just become a construction manager, that within the built environment, you can fit into a number of roles and subsets of the discipline. As mentioned earlier, if the intention is to become an architect, it's important to discuss the full pathway to this. So whilst you might know or think you know what an architect does, it is a fairly regulated profession with a defined registration process managed by the various state registration boards around the country. The process is a 3-year Bachelor of Design Architecture degree, typically followed by a 2-year Master of Architecture postgraduate degree. At Deakin, we have a special pathway for this combined degree that you're listening in on to undertake a slightly shorter Master of Architecture offering. This at the moment is going through some change, but you may expect that to be around 1.5 years or 3 trimesters of study if you articulate from our combined degree to our Master of Architecture. After your study, the Architectural Practice Examination, or APE, registration process includes 2 years of logged work experience, some of which you can do whilst you're studying, an examination paper, and an interview with the panel of architects. After all that, you can then call yourself a registered architect and open yourself to your own business and level of work under the backing of the profession and the registration boards. It seems like a long stretch, but many students turn graduates do take several years after study before they feel confident and capable to undertake the registration process and can continue to develop their professional aptitudes working on the various projects and with various architects along the way. The other clear pathway to industry is to become a construction manager. As mentioned before, our graduates and final year students often find themselves applying for graduate and cadet programs within medium to large firms within Australia. These programs, like the work experience targets if you were to become an architect, open students up to a variety of project roles and responsibilities to build on their study and develop similar aptitudes that might define the type of professional they become. As students, many find work in smaller firms in assistant roles to quantity surveyors, project managers, site supervisors, and the like. At this point, it's important to say that within the combined degree, there is no clear path that all students take. It varies and often comes down to the individual. Some students do take to the planning and organisational side of the industry and work their way into the construction management. Some students cannot shake their creative side and wish to continue to develop and express themselves through design. Some students take one of these pathways and then a few years later, flip back and back around to the other side. I personally love to design and create, but I also have a keen sense of management and practicality. So I didn't just end up in the industry for too long. I found another aspect to all of this, which led me to become an academic and a teacher where I enjoy helping students develop and grow with their ideas. You often don't know where you might end up, but this is something the combined degree allows for, and that is options and opportunities at a number of turns along the way. This brings us to other aspects of the course of the school that we like to make available to students, and that's global experiences. Students quite enjoy taking a number of short study tour options we typically have in a given year. One of note is the Intercultural Dialogue Through Design program, which has run every year for the past 10 years, 6 of which I've had some direct involvement with. In 2019, A+B partnered with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and we spent 3 weeks in the southwest of India. Over this time, we engaged in a number of immersion activities, both culturally and architecturally, which supported an intense design studio program that our students working with Manipal students collaboratively engaged Anganwadi proposals for a nearby rural community. An Anganwadi is a mother-child centre, and there are approximately 1.8 million of these across India. Often they're in ill-fitting and concrete shell buildings. It was the first time for some of our students to engage with potential users of such design, along with having tight restraints of the site and the cost. Students had to put their concepts out there and try to explain, encourage, and show the workers, the parents, and the government officials what could be possible for their particular Anganwadi. Value add to that, the engagement allowed our students to have activities with the children themselves to help inspire what their concepts of design were to become. PaperSpace is another opportunity, and this is an annual exhibition that the school puts on publicly at the end of the year. Previously, it has occupied the Federation Square atrium for the past 4 to 5 years and then travelled back to Geelong in our A+B gallery space. Unfortunately, I have no details on what we might do this year, but we are intending to find some creative alternative for the PaperSpace exhibition in 2020. So please keep an eye out. This brings us towards the end of the presentation today. Thanks for all of you to joining us today. It's really great to see so many of you interested in the Bachelor of Design Architecture, Bachelor of Construction Management Honours combined degree. If you'd like to learn more, please explore our virtual open day website where you'll find additional information. We also encourage you to stick around for the live Q&A session, which is about to kick off. And if you need to head to another session, you can speak to our experts on the live chat at any time throughout the day. I look forward to hopefully meeting you when the time is right and we are able to engage face-to-face and fully welcome you to the school next year or in the years to come. Thank you.